Hi guys, this is Glicksman for SI.com. I'm here alongside Colin Becht, and we are talking post-spring college football power rankings. A couple months still until these teams actually start playing games, but it's not too early to make predictions that are ultimately destined to be wildly wrong. So let's start at the top. The top 5 in SI.com's post-spring power rankings are number 1 Ohio State, the defending champions, number 2 Baylor, number 3 Auburn, number 4 Alabama, and number 5 Michigan State. Looking at that top 5, what sticks out to you?
Well, obviously, you have to start with number 1 Ohio State. Definitely, very strong coming into this, and maybe one of the strongest holds on number 1 that we might have seen in past seasons. Though again, each season seems like you feel pretty confident in your number 1 choice. But definitely a lot to like with Ohio State, whether it's the quarterbacks, whether it's Ezekiel Elliott, whether it's Joey Bosa on the defense. So much returning talent. Another team of interest, actually, just outside the top 5. TCU at number 6. I think they are, could definitely rival Baylor at number 2 to possibly win a Big 12 title. Trevon Boykin, very high caliber, potentially Heisman candidate quarterback there. So I'll be interested to see if he can build on his success from last season and potentially get TCU from just outside the playoff like last year and into that top 4 this year.
Right. You look last year, obviously those were the top 2 teams in the Big 12. It's weird to say this, but I guess Baylor now is kind of the most established team in the Big 12 in recent years, right? TCU had a phenomenal season last year. Baylor obviously beat them in the head-to-head matchup, which became a huge talking point as these teams were lobbying for the playoff. The other thing when I was going through this top 5 here is a lot of the teams at the top don't have established quarterbacks yet, right? We have Seth Russell of Baylor. We don't know how he's going to fare yet. Auburn, Jeremy Johnson was named the starter, immense potential, was a very highly touted recruit, but he hasn't been the guy on the Plains yet. And Alabama, we don't know who's going to be the guy there, right? Is it Jacob Coker? He's been sort of waiting his time, first at Florida State, now at Alabama. Does he have what it takes to keep this Alabama juggernaut just firing at the level that it has been? So now moving to some teams that aren't ranked as high in SI.com's post-spring top 25 as the end of their last season may have warranted. I'm talking about Georgia and I'm talking about Wisconsin. Are there any concerns with those 2 programs in particular that spring to mind?
Well, when you look at Wisconsin, starting off with just the personnel on their team, Corey Clement steps in at running back. I think that won't be the reason that Wisconsin will disappoint this year. I think Clement will step in just fine. The bigger problems for Wisconsin, though, are on the offensive line, where they have a lot of spots to replace. And the guys that really sprung Melvin Gordon and Clement last season, can the new guys step in and create the holes and create the time for what was a very shaky passing game last year, whether they can get the improvement? Also, when you look at who Wisconsin's going to be playing against, the Big Ten in general seems to be on the rise now. So will Wisconsin be able to keep pace?
I think Wisconsin, over the past couple of years, dating back to when Brett Bielema was the coach, when Gary Anderson is the coach, this is a team that just finds ways to win, right? And I'm prone to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to keep doing that until they prove otherwise. But other than the running backs, which Wisconsin always has a running back, right? That's just something that's accepted at this fact. If you're a college football fan, you know that Wisconsin has a running back who's going to be able to do damage. The offensive line is a question mark. Their quarterback, Joel Stave, had the yips last season, recovered from those, but still finished with a completion percentage below 50%, I think, or if not below, slightly above. And they have a new coach, right? They bring back Paul Chryst. He has experience in the Wisconsin system, but it's still a transition period. It's still a question mark. So we don't know for sure if they're going to be able to sort of continue at the level that they've been at over the past few years.